Hello my beautiful friends and welcome. I'm Inga, physiotherapist, and in today's video we'll talk about Diastasis Recti or recti diastasis. Firstly, I explain to you what is DR, and then we'll talk about what causes it, and we'll do together a simple test that you can easily do at home. And lastly, I'll explain to you if the test is positive, what you can do to fix it, okay? So let's start. So to understand what Diastasis Recti or DR is, we first must understand the muscles that are involved. So if we look at our abdominal muscles, we have something that we call the anterior abdominal wall. And there is a muscle that is called the Rectus Abdominis muscle, which is a relatively thin and flat muscle that runs from your xiphoid process, so from your sternum, all the way down to your pubic bone, okay? This muscle is connected with something that we call the Linea Alba. The Linea Alba is a thin connective tissue band that runs here in the middle between your left and right rectus abdominis. It's basically making them into two muscle bellies that run here in the front. And it's also what we call the six-pack muscle, the muscle here in the front. So this is the rectus abdominis muscle. So what we call a rectus diastasis, or also an ab separation, is when your Linea Alba gets stretched and it stayed here and basically left a gap between your left and your right rectus abdominis. As we continue now, I would like you to think about the Linea Alba as an elastic band. If an elastic band gets stretched, it still has this elasticity to come back together, right? But if it got stretched past flexibility and elasticity, it cannot by itself come back together easily, okay? If you push then an elastic that's not tight enough anymore back together, you get a little bulge, right? So please keep that in mind for when we are looking at our exercises, because it's really important in the way we do want to train. So what causes this change? It's basically caused by an increased inter-abdominal pressure. It can be the consequence of severe obesity, but mostly we see it during pregnancy and postpartum. So your abdominal muscles and connective tissue are stretched by your growing uterus and to accommodate your growing baby. Plus, your body is incredibly smart, so it's helping to support you and your baby with hormones such as relaxin or estrogen to help stretch and loosen your body further. This is especially true if you carry twins or multiple babies, or if this is not your first birth in pregnancy, but you had many children before, or also if you had an especially large baby at birth, and also some genetic predispositions play a role. What I would like you to keep in mind, mama, is that this is a completely normal process, okay? Studies have shown that 100% of women in their third trimester experiencing a DR, okay? So you're not alone. And also, it's not only a natural process of pregnancy, but it's also a necessary one just to make space for your baby to grow properly. So be kind to yourself. Our thoughts do matter. So let's make sure together that moving forward, we take care of our body and help it to work properly in the future. The good news are that for half of women, this problem has resolved itself just after 4 to 6 weeks postpartum. So as your uterus shrinks down, your rectus abdominis muscles can come back closer together. If they do not, you might be experiencing symptoms such as an overall feeling of instability in the midsection, since you have a quite weak link in the middle of your body, right? So you might also feel that in your back with lower back pain. You might feel it in your pelvic musculature, so pelvic floor instability, maybe you have urinary leakage or something similar. So we really want to work on stabilizing this area again to get rid of all these symptoms, okay? So let me show you how to test yourself easily at home. For that, I would like you to come lay on an even surface, maybe your bed or maybe the floor, okay? Let's do it. So bring your feet close to your body and you just place them on your mat. And then I would like you to take 3 fingers of your right hand and go with them close to your belly button, just above your belly button. Your head stays on the floor for now, and you already try to get a little feel for that Linea Alba. You're basically looking for the space between the two muscle bellies of the rectus abdominis. Okay, once you're there, I would like you to take one hand behind your head and gently, gently lift up your head and your shoulders a little bit off the floor. Okay, it doesn't have to be a real crunch, just a slight engagement to get your rectus abdominis muscle working. Okay, so now we have a better feel of the space between the two muscles, right? So first we test for the integrity of this muscle. So I want you to slightly push down and feel what that feels like. So a positive test would be if you can really go deep with your fingers. So remember the elastic band we spoke about? So you want to feel some resistance. You want to feel the elastic band being tight, okay? So you go up a little bit towards your rib cage, should get tighter as you go more up. It's always a little bit looser towards the belly button, and then go all the way down towards pubic bone, and it should feel tighter again. Okay, you can rest your head back down. So this was the first test. Now I'd like you to turn these 3 fingers horizontally. Okay, with your head on the floor, you're gonna go just above the navel and start to get a feel for it. Okay, maybe it feels like more, you need only 2 fingers, and then you're gonna again lift up your head and try to feel for the gap. Okay, maybe it's 1 finger, and if you have 1 finger, that's completely normal. 1 to 2 fingers are considered normal actually. It's what if you can really fit 3 fingers, what is called, or what is a positive test for a DR. Okay, again walk your fingers up a little bit, the gap should get closer. Do the same underneath your navel and check here for the space of the 2 muscle bellies of the rectus abdominis, and gently come back down. Okay, well done. So to summarize, a gap of 2 fingers or 15 millimeters is considered as normal. Everything above that should really be checked out by a local professional. Okay, so what can you do about a DR? Well, what happens if you straight away jump into, let's say, the traditional core exercises as crunches? You are making it actually worse, because you are pushing your abs back together and you're engaging them. And remember the elastic band we spoke about earlier, the Linea Alba? So what happens if you just push it back together is that the Linea Alba bulges out. And this is creating the typical cone shape we sometimes see, and we really don't want that, right? The latest research actually suggests that it's better to create a little bit more tension on your Linea Alba to create that flat looking belly, but not only that, but to actually protect your organs and everything best. Okay, so how do we achieve that? Well, with such things as, for example, diaphragmatic breathing, with pelvic floor contractions, with isometric work. Okay, so with really gentle movements in the beginning, and then we can build up from there. Okay, also thankfully there are more muscles in our abdominals that we can focus on to build that strength. Okay, until then, be mindful, be gentle, and check out my video on how to heal with exercises your DR. Okay, so if you like this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and I wish you all the best and a wonderful day. Hope to see you here again soon.